Thinking provides knowledge. Knowledge makes you great. Ignorance is the curse of God. Knowledge is the wing wherewith we fly to heaven. Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Om Sterling Global University's 5 days faculty development program, Blended Mode, in collaboration with Maharaja Agrasen University, Solan, on advances in research and technologies in education with special reference to National Educational Policy 2020. I am Dr. Farhan Asfarlo, today's convener, day 2, session 2. आईना क्यों न दूं के तमाशा कहीं जिसे आईना क्यों न दूं के तमाशा कहीं जिसे ऐसा कहाँ से लाऊं कि तुझसा कहीं जिसे He is not great who is not greatly good. So, without wasting time, we are going to have our next resource person, that is Dr. Ashulekha Gupta, Professor, Department of Management Studies, Graphics Era, University, Dehradun. She will be speaking on discussion in methodological requirement of research and to stimulate and capture new approaches. So to introduce her, I would like to say a few lines about Dr. Ashulekha Gupta. She is a professor of data analytics and economics in the Department of Management Studies at Graphics Era, deemed to be University, Dehradun. She is an avid researcher in the diverse field of marketing, energy, digital economy, and sustainability. She has a distinguished academic record and holds a doctorate and post-graduation in economics. In addition, she also has a postgraduate in marketing management and international business. Dr. Gupta has more than 21 years of teaching experience, research, and industry. Besides academics, she also holds different administrative positions in academic institutions and corporates. She has published a number of research papers in national and international journals and presented more than 30 papers in national and international conferences. She has also contributed various chapters in edited books. Her recent research interests in the area of environmental economics, and she has published as a book a chapter in edited book of Springer Nature. Dr. Gupta is also a reviewer of several national and international journals. She serves as a resource person for various research-oriented workshops and seminars, and she is also running her YouTube channel on research-oriented research methodology advanced tools, which include data analysis using various softwares. She has also published 21 patents at the national level. Presently, she is supervising doctoral research students for PhD. So let us welcome Dr. Ashulekha Gupta. तो स्वागत करते हैं इनका जोरदार तालियों के साथ. Ma'am, please proceed. Am I audible to you?
Yes, it's audible. Very good afternoon to each and everyone present over here, and respected Vice Chancellor, sir, respected other faculty members, and dear students and participants. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be part of this FDP. And it would be very insightful FDP, and topic is very interesting. And this particular topic has been given to me, research methodology to stimulate and capture new technologies. That is the most demanding this time is the topic, and more we are focusing on our research methodology, RM research, and as well as other, those are the new technologies are coming into the market, how we have to incorporate all these technologies in our research paper in PhD work. So, and after that, we can get the publication in a high impact factor journals. And I'm sure this session would be useful to each and every one over here. And I'm really thankful to Professor Ajay Podhar, who had given me this opportunity to be part of this FTP. So I'm just sharing my slides. Can I share myself or you have to share? Right, right,
Yes, ma'am, you can share this.
right. So, research methodology, because nowadays this is the time you have to focus more on RM part. There are two methods, qualitative and quantitative. And one more term is mixed methods, where you are going to apply qualitative as well as quantitative methods. Recently, I have seen research papers published in Journal of Cleaner Production, Business Strategy and Management. Both the journals are quality journals, more than Impact Factor 11. And these journals, I have gone through a number of the papers where people are not simply using only qualitative research, qualitative methods, they are using quantitative methods also, quantitative and qualitative both sometimes. Because I would like to share some few papers with you, those are already published in such a reputed journals. And then you can see how the mixed method people are applying. But before starting this, I just want to, some points I just want to discuss with you. Number one is, what do you understand by research? Research itself, it is defining search, research. Already, so you are searching against something, research. So that is why we people are going for literature review. That is why we are going for literature review partner. So basically, a careful investigation or inquiry, especially through search for new facts in any branch of knowledge. What is your contribution to the society? What is your contribution to the to in any policy framing or in any area where you would like to pursue this point? As well as systematized efforts to gain new knowledge. How systematically, because literature review we have done in the past, all those things already done in the past, and what new thing we can contribute. And people are writing in their limitations. They are writing this point. I could not be able to apply this particular tool in this piece of research. So this is the future scope. Other researchers can apply this new tool, and after that they can go for further research, and they can, like, if I will take an example of like AHP, I can take example of Topsis, I can take example of Vicor, I can take example of D-metal, I can take example of fuzzy D-metal. Suppose somebody have done the same analysis, they had applied only AHP or fuzzy AHP. So there is the future research, you can go for D-metal and fuzzy D-metal. Simply, you can collect the variables, you can collect the factors, and after that you can apply these particular tools and techniques. So here is, in a simple word, we can say, right, where is the problem statement? We had formulated hypothesis and we are suggesting some solutions, collecting, organizing, and evaluating data, making deductions and reaching conclusions, and at last carefully testing. Carefully testing here is the conclusion to determine whether they fit the formulating hypothesis. So this way, the manipulation of the thing, concepts or the symbols for the purpose of generalizing to extend, correct, or verify knowledge, whether that knowledge aids in construction of theory or in the practice of an art. I've seen one research paper just now, it has been published, very recent research paper, it has been published, and I would share with you later on. In this research paper, they have properly applied fuzzy D metal. And after this fuzzy D metal, what they have done, they have validated their result with the help of sentiment analysis also. So here is how they have to, because you have applied one particular tool. So that is not sufficient to publish any research paper. You have to validate your results through some another technique also. And if we will talk about a very simple objectives of the research, why we are doing, already I have discussed this thing. Here is to determine the frequency with which something occur or with which it is associated with the something else. Studies with the object in view are known as diagnostic research studies. So we will discuss about here what is causal relationship kind of research, what is diagnostic research, what is exploratory research, and what is other. Right, if I will talk about the historical research, exploratory research, so we will discuss accordingly. First of all, you have to find out what kind of research you would like to pursue, how would to collect your data, as well as how you have to reach on your conclusion, what kind of tools you are going to apply. That's the most important. So research methodology, if I will talk about, we have to choose appropriate method for data collection. Since the beginning, that's the very important. There is the n number of methods are available to get the appropriate solution, like observation method, participants observation. You will decide whether you would like to opt this particular data, this particular technology. Survey method, interview method, focus group method, experiments method, secondary data analysis, archival method, mixed method. I was talking about mixed method. I'm giving more emphasis on mixed method. Why I'm giving more emphasis on mixed method? Because this is the nowadays demand. And if suppose I am using, that is the focus group interview, I have collected some data through experts. And experts, let's say if I am working on the electric vehicle, I'm working on a paper that is electric vehicle. And on this paper, electric vehicle, I have taken how come adoption of the electric vehicle can be improved in our country. It could be very fast because as per SDG, Sustainability Development Goals, 17 goals, that is also one of the important goal. And they are having this goal we would like to achieve till 2030. So that is why majority countries, they are looking towards this side. And our country is also, we are looking towards the maximum adoption of the energy. This one is the electric vehicle. So electric vehicle adoption. So what we have done, we would like to adopt this particular process. So we have done experts interview. We have designed a questionnaire, and in this questionnaire these experts, they had filled their data, and after this data we had analyzed this data, and then we had prioritized all our factors. How, which one is the most demanding factor, that is on the higher side, and which one is the least demanding factor, that is on the lower side. This is the one part, that is we have done the part of this quantitative, and after that we have done qualitative also. Further, we have validated our result through some other points, some other method. Now the most important question, what is the difference between research methods versus methodology? Both are same or there is any difference? So research methods are the methods that a researcher adopt for conducting the research studies, that is the research methods. But methodology, in what way, in what way, in which research problems are solved systematically, that is methodology. Because methodology, research methodology is a proper, there is a system, there is a proper steps, 7 steps process through which you are going to achieve your conclusion, your targets. So it is the science of studying how research is conducted scientifically. I had already put it here, there. It is the specific procedure or technique used to identify, select, process, and analyze information about a topic. So, how it would be analyzed, you will decide at the time of when you are selecting your topic, because that is the part of the research design where you have to say in advance which particular research design I'm going to apply, which particular research design I'm going to adopt. Right. Now is the most important thing, criteria of good research. How you could say I am a good researcher, or these techniques I had adopted. But good research is systematic. That is why nowadays, if we will talk about the qualitative research, bibliometric analysis, systematic literature review, there are n number of the softwares, those are available through which you can do your research. This one is the qualitative research, like NVivo. NVivo is the software that is already available through which you can apply on your qualitative research. And here is your research should be systematically arranged, and that structure with the specified steps to be taken in a specified sequence in accordance with the well defined set of rules. And it should be, good research is logical. It should be logical by the rules of some logical reasoning. Why I am doing this particular research? Because in my department there is a number of research scholars are here. So time to time I have asked them, whenever they are giving their research project, research proposal, they are doing PhD and research proposal. So I have asked them why you had selected this topic. What would be your contribution? And had you identified in the past previous research what people they have already done, what kind of tools they had already applied? So these are the some questions that should be on, and this research is logical and or not logical. If it is not logical, so there is the no use to conduct such kind of research. If it is not helpful to the policymakers, to the government, or to in any specific area, so there is no use to go for such kind of research. And good research is empirical. Research is related basically to one or more aspects of real situation and deals with concrete data that provides a basis for external validity. As well as it should be, research is replicable. The characteristics allows research result to be verified by replicated the study and thereby building a sound basis for decision. So, such kind of things before starting any research, we have to keep in our mind. So, my more emphasis towards the qualitative and quantitative, and then we come to the mixed research problems. Here is types of research. If we will talk about qualitative research, refers to use of the non-numerical observations to answer why we are doing it and what is the use of this particular research. So it could be, here is you can see qualitative research, quantitative research, it could be divided into two parts, analytical and descriptive. Observational, here is cohort study, case control study, experimental. Under this experimental randomized trials, that is mostly adopted by medical people rather than the social science. Social science, we some types of analytical kind of research we had adopted. Descriptive is case report, case series, cross-sectional, and all these things we people are adopted in social science research. But because why I'm talking about the medical, because medical research, it is the case-based research. It is the case-based research means that is the one particular patient. Case means that is your patient. The patient is a case. So this patient we are analyzing, and we have past history of that particular patient, and we are comparing some groups. One is the control group, one is the experiment group, through which we just want to be giving such kind of medicines to that particular group, particular group patients, and we just want to observe something, whether we are reaching to the final conclusion and what is our observations. So this is, we can say, observational such kind of studies. As well as I just want to share with you, this one is the, what do you understand by exactly this cohort study, meaning of this cohort study? It is the form of basically longitudinal study. Like, if I would take an example of the people who shares our defining characteristics, right? Those who are experienced with a common event in a selected period like birth or graduation, right? And those are in these falling in the same age group or performing a cross section at intervals through time. It is a type of panel study where the individuals in the panel share a common characteristics. These people would be having a common characteristic. And case control study, like a case reference study, where is the case to case we will talk about. It would be observational study, where is the two existing groups, right? Outcome we would like to find out. Number one, right? Those group to to this particular group, we had given we can say medicine, some kinds of treatment we had given. So, and the group to that group, to those we have not given such kind of treatment. So here is the these are the in the medical condition, by comparing subject who have the condition diseases, like cases like patients who do not have the condition disease but are otherwise similar the controls, right? Those are the control group we have to take. What do you understand by randomized trials? Randomized trials means participants are divided by chance into a separate group, right? Earlier one we have divided by our choice, and this one is the group that is by chance, separate groups, and that compare different treatments or other interventions. So here is dividing the people into groups. That means we are talking about groups will be similar, that the effect of the treatment they receive can be compared more fairly. Like for example, I had written, this one is the compare diabetic patients with implanted insulin pumps against diabetic patients who receive multiple insulin injections. That is the control group. So we just want to check whether there both of these groups are same or there is any difference in both these groups. So this kind of research, this kind of method, we are calling it randomized trials. And that is the case report case, like where is we are preparing a report, a case report also contains some demographic information like age, gender, ethnic, and case, if we would talk about the case series. So case report involving patients who were given similar treatment. So case reports and case series usually contain demographic information. That means we have to take into consideration what is the past treatment we had given to them. We will discuss about this particular cross sectional also, and I had already given one example of the cross sectional used for population based survey and to assess the prevalence of the disease in the clinical based sample. So these studies are usually be conducted relatively faster, and that would be inexpensive. Here is now we come to the research process. The most important thing, that is research process. Here is first of all how we have to define research problem. See, I again and again a number of times I asked to my research scholars, think about 10 times about research problem, why we have taken into consideration this particular research problem, and collect, and at least that should be mandatory to or the research scholars, one review paper that should be mandatory. Why? Because how could you find out gap analysis, how did you find this gap, and how many papers you had studied. That's the most crucial part of this. So here is review concept and theories. What is the theory behind this, right? Whether we have taken TPP theory, consumer planned behavior theory, because any any particular topic you have taken, so that should be supported by one particular theory. That's the important. Review previous research findings, and after that only you have to formulate your hypothesis. Once you would formulate your hypothesis, here is then you have to design your research design, and that would be including your sample size. I was surprised a number of times researchers, and those are the research scholars, they are taking if I would ask them, how much sample size you have taken into consideration, that is my convenience, I have taken 200. That is my convenience, I have taken only 100 क्योंकि मुझे convenient है, and that is nearby because मेरे nearby area में that is why. No, I'm sorry to say this is not the correct answer. This is not the correct answer. Correct answer is, if suppose we are applying structure question modeling. So professor here already had given, that is already validated, and number of the researchers they are giving this reference in their research article. They had clearly said, right, in his research work as well as in his book also, if those are number of the your items, that would be multiplied by 10. Suppose you have items 225, your research items. Under your one construct, there is 5 items, in one construct 3 items, right? And how many items you have, that would be multiplied by 10. Suppose 25 items, so you have to collect 250 data. That is not your choice how many data you are collecting or what percentage. Suppose, in if I will talk about Uttarakhand is divided into two parts. One is Garhwal region, another one is Kumaon region. In Garhwal region and Kumaon region, we can see how many blocks are there. So after this finding out each and every block, we would find out what is the total number of the population, and accordingly we have taken 10% of that population or 5% of that population, then only we can pursue this our research. So these are the some valid points, those we should follow. Collection of the data, that is the execution of the data, right? We have to collect the data, analyze the data. I just want to say this one particular thing. When you are analyzing this data, the first important task is, first of all, clean your data, because data you had gathered, you had collected either through questionnaire or through some other method or through survey method. You had collected this data, but first clean your data. I just want to say, clean your data means what? What is this clean your data? Cleaning of the data means, I am saying, somebody had asked questionnaire, somebody had designed questionnaire 1 to 7 Likert scale. And one of the respondent, he had filled in all the data, across the data, 1 1 1 1 1. 1 means strongly disagree, and 7 means strongly agree. So how could you, whether you have to take into consideration that data? No, you will not take this data into your consideration. Why you have not take this paper, this particular data in your consideration? Because that is biased data, and that is not a useful data. And somebody had filled 7777 in all the rows, right? Across the all the 25 questions, he had filled 7777. That is again wrong. So, how we have to clean this data? The most important thing, how we are going to clean this data, you have to check standard deviation. You will check standard deviation. And through this standard deviation, if standard deviation is, here is 0, you will find standard deviation in each and every respondent. In front of each and every respondent, we will try to find a standard deviation. If it is 0, so that means we should delete that respondent's entry. We should ignore this particular respondent. We should delete this data. Because why standard deviation is 0? Either he had filled 1 1, he had filled 7 7, he had filled 5 5, he had filled 4 4 in all the answers. Because blindly he had filled. He had not read all the questions, and without reading these questions, he had filled 1 1 1 5 5. So that is why through standard deviation, we must ignore such kind of entries. Then after cleaning, sometimes though some data are missed data. So we should also drop this kind of data entry in our further analysis. So data collection to the reaching to the analysis data, this is data cleaning. It is very, very important. And after this analyzing the data, test the hypothesis, you have already decided which particular tool I'm going to use. So if I'm going to use that particular tool, let's say structure question modeling, regression, ANOVA, and you are using some different kind of qualitative analysis, then you have to finally you are going to interpret this data. Then we come to the how one important thing I just want to say literature review, because people are generally doing literature review not in that manner that we required. So questions that can be answered by the review of these questions. These are the questions we must answer for when we are going for literature review. What are the major issues at debate about the research problem? First of all, you must have a lot of debate, lot of brainstorming session you can conduct. Are there any gaps in the knowledge of the subject? Yes, we have to try to find out actually it is gap or it's not. And how can I bridge the gap? How can I fulfill this gap? Then only we will select this my research problem. Right. If I would share one of the important problem in my Uttarakhand, here is should you tribal study, because ISSR already opened such kind of projects. Now you can see if in your state they want to conduct this study on the tribes, scheduled tribes. They want to conduct this kind of study. So Jonsar Babar is the place, right, where we can conduct such kind of studies, and we have to take something important. Yeah. कुछ है important? Yeah. So, right. So here is we would collect this data, and after that we will find out what is the exact how we can focus on their livelihood and all. So here is whether the research question already has been answered by someone else, whether the chronology of the development of knowledge about my research problem, right? And what are the key theories, concepts, and ideas known about the subject? So any statement you have taken or any particular tool you are going to apply, so that should be supported by your any theory that is already in the past already given by some researchers, those are developed these kind of skills. So that should be supported by these kind of theories. Otherwise your this one is the research problem that would not be complete, and it is not logically you can explain, you can justify your this research problem. And what directions methodologies are indicated by the work of others, right? So what kind of methodology they had adopted, why they have taken into consideration these kind of sample size, why have they have opted this particular block. If one of my research project right now I'm going that is given by IIT Roorkee. So through IIT Roorkee 175 years collaborations, so I have got this one project from IIT Roorkee, and through this project, right? Here is I had just taken some blocks. So I had given for the livelihood development of that particular block. So that was logically it should be and rationally it should be justified. People they had asked why I have chosen this particular block. Let's say here is the Doiwala, Raipur, Vikas, Sehespur. They are the number of the blocks. So why had I had opted that particular block? That should be justified with statistical data that is provided by that particular block, where is the Jila Parishad and all these things. We had collected that particular data, and online is also available. What is the population and why we and what kind of development we are doing for this particular block in the livelihood, how the people they can earn money, a handsome amount they can earn, and as well as we can justify this thing in terms of the skill development, how we can train these people, we can develop their skills, they can earn money, and some money, and they can improve their standard of living, right? So here is such kind of questions we must ask to ourselves. So when we are designing some research design, so that should be clear before starting this thing. What would be our dependent variable? What would be our independent variable? That should be initially you must find out. Like if I will talk about I am working on FDI, and FDI depends upon of any country's FDI depends upon GDP. It depends upon interest rate. It depends upon inflation. It depends upon export and import, open trade, right? Number of the factors those will define this particular FDI. So when I'm talking about FDI, so what would be my dependent variable? What would be my independent variables? That we will decide in advance. So quantitative values always called, we can call it variables. So like in my case, FDI is also one of the variable that is dependent variable, and this depends on independent variables would be GDP. So GDP is also one of my variable. Interest rate, my one of the variable. Inflation is my another variable. And if I will talk about import export, that is my another variable, right? So I have taken into consideration all these variables. So basically, like these variables could be like weight, height, right? So these could also be counted as a variable. It depends on your research area. But there is a question is what is continuous variable? Continuous variable, that is again a quantitative different values, but that can be in decimal points, right? This would be in decimal points. And when we will talk about the integer values, they are non-continuous values. And statistical language, there is the some these variables are statistical language, that is the discrete variables. Those are the integer values. And when we talk about the depends upon the consequences of the other variables, it termed as the dependent variable, and the variable that is antecedents to the dependent variable is termed as the independent variable, because that is depending upon the upon dependent variable depends upon this independent variable, right? So like height depends upon age. If we say that height depends upon age, then height is a dependent variable and age is an independent variable. Income and your qualification. Your is suppose I would like to check the there is any relationship between income and your qualification. So which one is dependent on what particular variable? That is also extraneous variable also. So these are the related for the, I mean, we can say dependent variable are termed as extraneous variable also confounding. So sometimes we are using extraneous variable, sometimes we are using dependent variable, right? And here is the dependent variable as a result of the extraneous variable is technically described as the experimental error. And when we talk about this study must always be so designed that the effect upon the dependent variable is attributed entirely to the independent variable and not to the some extraneous variable or variables. Then the control group, we will talk about there's the, I had already discussed control group, experimental and control groups and treatments also, right? And here is, I just want to share some papers with you. I just want to share some papers with you. Just a moment. Can I share my papers, research papers that I just want to share? How can I use these papers? Mm, this one is right. Right. Yes. Can you show me my paper, research paper that I had already uploaded here? Right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Like you can see these kind of papers. You can see that is why I was talking about qualitative study and quantitative study, right? If you have defined, here is this the one important thing, ISM modeling for factors affecting the purchase of green products. That is already published in Emerald. And you can see here, there is factors identification in advance. These number of factors taken into consideration, like environmental concern, knowledge, lifestyle, right, and habitat, attitude, etc. And now you can see here. I just want to show what technology proper solution of the methodology we had given. And here is you can see this is the flow diagram. This is the flow diagram that should be in advance. You must, because nowadays, elsewhere, Springer, Taylor and Francis, number of journals, they are talking about this flow diagram. Because whatever is your research, from where you had initiated your research and where is your research would be ending, what is the final step in your research, that would be here. So I mean, this kind of flow diagram you must incorporate in your research. Then we come to the, I just want to show you, this is the when I was talking about the questionnaire. This questionnaire is already filled by the experts, not by us. It is filled by the some experts, those have experience more than 10 years. And some are academicians, some were industrialists, some were those were some is officers, they had filled this data. And some were ceo, they have filled this data, right? So they have filled this data, and after that, you can see proper analysis. There is the ISN coding, right? Influencing of the purchasing of the green products. Here is the initial reachable matrix and other matrices also. And after that, finally, uh, this one is the, those are the, I just want to say, this is the flow diagram that is reflecting. Which one is the like personality? Personality is the we have to be, that is the least bothered. But here is, these are the, those are in the basis, because personality, these are the, this is the ranking of the factors. This one is the at the first rank, second rank, third rank, fourth rank level, fifth rank, and that one is the last rank method. So in that way, and here is the, this is the micmac analysis, that is the autonomous. If some factors are falling in autonomous, that means वो किसी को influence नहीं कर रहे, they are not influencing to any factors, but those are falling in the linkages, and those are falling in the independent. So that means they are leading, these factors are driving, and other factors are dependent. So these factors are, you can say, dependent, because they depend upon these factors, they are leading factors. So that paper was the suggested to the government policies also. They we said, we have to work on these factors rather than these factors, because these factors are dependent factors. If we would work on these factors, automatically they will pull all these factors. So in that way, and this one is the paper, one more paper, that is the mixed method. I just want to share with you, because research methodology nowadays is very very important. So let me, I think I should remove this paper, then only remove from the screen, then only I could be able to attach another paper. Mm, remove, right. And one more paper I just want to show you. Right. I think two slides only, na? That is, let me remove this also. I could not be able to upload any paper. I can share my screen also, I think. No? Ma'am, can you open this paper? I had already uploaded this paper. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. This is the paper I was talking about. It's published in Technological Forecasting and Social Change. And it's again a category journal and a very good impact factor in this paper. In this paper has been published. You can see here what is in this particular paper. You can see they had applied mixed methods. And when we talk about the mixed methods, you can see here in this mixed methods literature review, and after that you can see here this kind of, I was talking about this kind of flow diagram. Properly they had mentioned phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. In all these three phases, how we have to pursue this research. In the first phase, what we are doing. In the second phase, what we are doing. And in the third phase, in the last phase, what we are going to attempt. And finally, we are writing discussion implications for that particular study. So this is also, in this paper, they had applied fuzzy T matter, and nowadays it is the most demanding technique, fuzzy T matter. And after that, I was talking about they have not taken simply 35 factors. They have not taken simply 35 factors. First of all, they have done EFA, factor analysis. Factor analysis after, because 35 factors they have taken, then they have done factor analysis, and finally they have done these construct 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 constructs they have taken. You can see here all factors, because those are having more than zero point 0.5 loading, factor loading. So those have, you can see here factor Cronbach alpha and factor loading also. This part is showing factor loading. So they have, and those are falling in the same category through rotated matrix. They have put it in the same kind of constructs. So here is how smartly converted 35 factors into 7 constructs. You can see here. And after that, that is also not sufficient to publish a paper. What they, after this fuzzy D metal, then fuzzy D metal, after finishing this fuzzy D metal, right? This is the cause and effect diagram. What factors are cause side, what factors are on the effect side. And after that, what they have done, I just want to show you. This one is the acceptability dimensions. After that, you can say sensitivity analysis. Through sensitivity analysis, again they have changed their numbers of all these numbers has been filled by the experts. They have changed this number. Finally, they had validated through this sensitivity analysis. Right. And after that, they have written this finally conclusion. So what is our through sensitivity analysis, when we have done this when we have tried this first criteria, second criteria, third criteria, fourth criteria, and finally they have reached on this conclusion. So I just want to say everybody would like to publish in a category journal, but it is not easy to publish in a category and high impact factor journal. Why? Because they are accepting such kind of research papers. Those had applied number of techniques, and something should be very, I could say, something should be useful conclusion that could be too helpful to the society, or helpful to the some policy makers, or to the some organization, to some industry, then these papers are accepted. Right. So in that way, let me just show you one more paper to you. I'm just removing this paper, removing studio, right? And I just want to share one more paper, because why, that is the delete. Then this is the nowadays demand. Nowadays, I just want to share, this one is the particular paper. You can see here. Right. I think it's uploaded. Yes. Can I share this paper? I think I can open this paper. Right. Correct. Now you can see this is the one of the paper through which accuracy rate of artificial intelligence model using Python and RStudio. You can see here in this paper, in this particular research paper, what they have done, what the author they have done. This one is the mind paper itself. So you can see here what we have done: stock market prediction. Stock market prediction means person in which particular share market or in a mutual fund where they can get the dividend and in which particular share they will not get the dividend. So we had created a model, and in this model we have run our around 10,000 data. That was we have taken from money control, because the number of the site through which you can take your data, you can download your data like WHO site, people have downloaded data and all, and we have run this data. And after that, not only in one technology, not only in Python, we have validated through, I mean, first we have run through RStudio, and after that we have run same data in Python also. And after that we had validated and we had applied in artificial neural network, ANN. And through artificial neural network, you can see these are the hidden layers, these are the input layers, output layers, and after that, and you can see here, if you could be able to see this thing, I don't know whether I can increase this training. You can see accuracy rate 93%, and here is accuracy rate is 95%, right? Through Python also the same data we have run, and you can see this is the artificial neural network model, right? So this one is the now, finally, we can say which model, right? We had interpret this data, accuracy of the data. I mean, which model is good and which model is acceptable and which model is not acceptable. So I just want to say, people are using such kind of techniques, and after one technique they just want to validate it through other techniques also. That is the today's research methodology demand. People are not only using qualitative, they are using quantitative also, they are using mixed methods also, because nowadays A category journal, A star category journals, and ABS, those are the most demanding. I think all IMMs first criteria is you could be able to apply, that is the application criteria, if you have one A category paper. Then that is the eligibility criteria. Selection की तो हमने बात ही नहीं करी अभी. We are talking about only eligibility criteria. If you have one A category paper, then you are eligible to apply these IMMs as faculty. Otherwise, you could not be able to apply. Right. So such kind of these things are that is most demanding in the market. So that's all from my side. And any questions? Thank you so much. I
Ends
think
in a speech. Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with such an informative session about types of research methods and methodologies, mixed methods, along with the demonstration of your research papers. Thank you so much, ma'am. So now we are going to have our question session. Is there any question from the audience side? Do we have any question? Yes, come on. All right, ma'am. I think that you are
thank
ready
you so much.
for
Thank you so
ma'am.
much.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you so much, ma'am.
So,
Now I would
should I?
like,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Should I leave? Yeah. Thank you.
Ma'am, 1 minute, ma'am, 1 second. Now I would like Professor Mahendra Punia, sir, to come upon the dais and just take over his part.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It's a very good session, and it's a very important for the new researcher as well as the researcher who have the doctorate degree. And it's a good interpretation by you by showing your research papers. And I hope the participants will be benefited from your lectures and from your talk. Thank you once again, ma'am. Thank you very much. Now, the next session will be started in the tomorrow. So we will close down this today's session, and next tomorrow morning we will meet exact 10:25. That means the time is 10:30, but I request you to please assemble at 10:25 morning. Okay, thanks to all once again.